Okay, so I'm gonna start all over because apparently my live went away. Maybe I wasn't starting off using the right words. So I'm just gonna start off by saying this. Dear black woman, instead of laughing at each other or dogging each other or thinking, oh, I don't hang out with trashy people, loudmouth people, ghetto people, and things of that nature, let's start by loving on one another, embracing one another, correcting one another in private. Because it's bad enough, many may not like what I'm going to say, but it's bad enough that the younger generation of black men dog us out and come for us and lie, and you know what I'm saying? Well, that's one thing I will never understand, how the black man can tear down something that they came out of. Now, I'm not racist, and I'm not trying to bring up just only black women in general, but that's really what Black Lives Matter means. Just loving on one another. You see your sister down, you see her struggling, and you see her going through it. First off, because we've gone through so much as a culture. Many don't know, and you can't do what you just don't know. And I remember a certain few young women that I can think of. I can say some names: Candace, Monique, Kanita. And these are just young black women that kind of in my circle. That when I was just wilding out, even though all three of them hurt my feelings, they hurt my feelings in such a loving way. In a way where they would let me know, like, yeah, girl, just don't do that. And I didn't understand it, and I would kind of get a little irritated. But they didn't hurt. They didn't come for me like how the ones behind my back would, how the ones in the church, let's just keep it real, how they would. They would come. They came for me like, girl, that's not cute. That's not this. That's not that. Don't wear this. Change that. And I just kind of feel like, when we sit up on there and we clown one another, about, haha, girl, that's why you got your kids took her, haha, girl, how many baby daddies do you have, or haha, girl, you still smoking, or you still doing this, or you doing that, or doing this and doing that. That's not going to empower the black community. That's not going to change anything, and that's just going to make individuals stray away. I remember at one point, if it wasn't for my father, who constantly made me love on the black community, I probably would have strayed away a little bit more, because I felt like, my sisters were the meanest ones, the most judgmental ones. When we don't have to be like that. If you think you're doing better than your sister, first off, what God gives, He will take away. Number one, and to whom much is given, much is needs to be returned. I forget what scripture that is. Meaning, like, you have to return back to where you come from to reach that circle. You can't elevate yourself and then think you're going to leave everybody behind and then think that you're better than everybody. You need to remember that. First off, don't forget where you came from. And if you see your sister down and out and looking crazy and stuff, pull her to the side. Let her know that you love her. Not you shouldn't be doing that. Let her know, like, hey, I love you, but, you don't have to wear crop tops in the wintertime with your boobies out. You don't have to have your butt cheeks hanging out. There's no need to repost things. There's no need to screenshot things and clown people. Love on one another. And eventually, when the individual does come around and realizes that that's not of them, they'll think about you and they'll remember you. It's gotten to the point where other races, cultures, or whatever, they feel like they can imitate us, and they clown us and they make fun of us. And that's because we've allowed them and we've given them the platform to do that, because we do that to ourselves. They'll throw on a wig and throw on these big eyelashes, and they'll talk like that, and that's not how all black women are. I remember growing up, many would say, oh, you talk like a white girl, or you're whitewashed. Okay, I am sister. Okay, straight up. Let me look into the camera. I am a sister. Now, if I have chosen to go a different route, and if I have chosen to go and, obtain some education and display myself differently, that doesn't mean that I act like a white girl. That just means that I demand respect, and that I want to show other black women that they too can do it. Don't forget where you came from. And if you did not come from that, that doesn't mean you have to hide from that. You step into that realm You step into that and you stand in the authority of you showing these young black girls or even older black women that you don't have to be like that. Because if you keep running, you're just going to show that you think you're better than everybody. Because when we get to heaven, there is no color. There is no color in heaven. There is no color in heaven. And so while you're here right now, empower the black woman. I don't think that you guys understand that as black women, we've gone through stuff so much in our ancestors and ancestors, and it's still going on. I was talking to my coworker over here, and I said, you don't see other cultures. You don't see many different white women or Asian women or Mexican women clowning one another on a social platform. You just don't. You don't see that going on. But us black women, I'm saying us over and over and over because I've been there and done that, are so quick to dog one another, so quick to laugh at one another, so quick to judge one another instead of loving and empowering one another. That's not what Black Lives Matter means. If Black Lives Matter, it means saying, hey sis, take my hand. Come this way. Let me show you that you can be different and you can live different. It's not being whitewashed. It's just being more demanding respect. You know what I mean? Demanding that we don't have to have that title on us. And so I'm not going to make this just long, but I'm just kind of noticing that. And I'm not going to lie, there's a few people that are on here that might be watching that I've inboxed with such loving ways and was like, hey sis, why are you, carrying yourself like that? Or, hey sis, da, 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 da. And, a couple of y'all have snapped back at me. But I said it, I planted the seed, and I can count two of y'all in particular are literally amazing. You're doing good. Now, I'm not saying it's me, but sometimes it just takes to plant that seed. Do you understand what I'm saying? And even though a person might be like, no, she did not, maybe they might want to deal with you, the seed is planted. And you don't worry about it growing and watering it and all that. You just plant the seed in a loving, kind way. Love on your sister. Because the rest of the world is not going to love on us like that. Okay? And as we know, we also go through stereotypes of black men on how they dog us. And so I don't want to be with a black man. It's just starting to just kind of, drive me up the wall when I'm seeing that. I've loved on sisters that have dogged me out. Simple as that. And I still love on them. And it's just worth it. It really is worth it. Because it's just going to continue. The abuse is just going to continue from our kids and so on. I remember my 14-year-old son, when he was 5, he came home one day and was like, Mom, you told me, I was a little crazy back then, that I have to like black girls. And I was like, because I was all, I was a little hot mess. And he was like, but the black girls are the meanest ones to me. And my heart broke when my son said that. And I was like, well, what do you mean? But then I had to realize that even though he didn't understand, he understood. Yes, we're angry. Yes, we're ticked off. Yes, we've gone through some things. But we don't have to walk around, abusing one another. We don't have to walk around throwing our weight. We don't have to be seen and heard and That's not going to get no answers from anybody. It's not going to get no kind of answers, and, it just isn't. And quite frankly, I remember a certain, young man that I caught myself talking to many, 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 many years ago, and I'll never forget the words that he said. He said, I love ratchet women. I love ratchet women. I'll never forget when he said that. And he said he loved loudmouth ratchet women. And this man is like, I'm not going to give his age, but he's pretty up there now. And let's just say not much is going on in his life because, it's like we're empowering that behavior. And it's not okay to dog each other out. And it's not okay because then the other cultures, they imitate it. And then we get mad. Oh, then white girls trying to be black. That's not trying to be black. That's ignorant. Okay, so stop putting that ignorant title on us and stop putting you acting white when a person is proper, as well. You know what I mean? You can be proper and not be whitewashed. And you can be ignorant and not be black. That's a word. That was a word, huh? You heard that? I like that. You can be proper and not be whitewashed. You can be ignorant and not be black. Every ignorant person is not black, and every black sister or brother that is proper is not whitewashed. So let's just work on loving one another. And I mean, literally, it's probably like 15 young sisters on my Facebook. And y'all know who y'all are. Y'all get on my last nerve. Because of the behavior and the things that I see. That don't stop me from loving them. I don't make fun of them. When they hit me up for prayer and questions, I'm not saying, girl, you was just laid up with every Tom, Dick, and Jerry. I don't do any of that. I love them and I embrace them because I was once there and I remember not having the love shown to me. We look alike. Our hair is so much the same. We come from a lot of the same heartache and pain and trouble. So why do you think you're better than the next? So I'm just going to leave you guys with that. And when you see your young sister down or struggling, you're not better than her. You're not better than her. And if you see a sister that is, carrying themselves in a manner that you're not, you don't have to attack them. If a person doesn't have something right now, okay, and so what? If they have their TV on a box crate, if they have their TV on a crate and that's the way that they're having to watch TV, if their kids' mattresses is on the floor because they don't have a box spring right now, if they have, sheets in their window because they don't have curtains right now, that is none of your business to sit there and break down the black woman. You can empower. Kanita just got on. And I don't know if it was in this life or the last one before, but Kanita is one black woman that when I first met her, she had this persona on her where, she knew she was better than the names that they put on us. And she carried herself in such a classy, loving way. And I remember at one point, Kanita knows this, I did not like her. I thought she was better than black women. I thought, she was just, whatever it was. And her and I even had a little different words because I was just like, ugh. We both started at this job together and she got promoted because she'd been there before. She had been there before. She'd been in those shoes before. And instead of me wanting to learn from her and take her pearls, I was, I guess, envious because I felt like, how can she come in here? I had never even had a job before. Do you understand what I'm saying? So how can I sit back and my behavior probably annoyed her because I was, a hot mess. But she sat there, and even though we had a little word, she sat there and empowered me. She was a role model for me. She was showing me how to be a lady. Like, I'm even going to get emotional. She showed me how to be a lady. She showed me that I didn't have to be trashy, and I didn't have to, be heard all the dang on time. I didn't have to dress like this, and I didn't have to walk like this, and I didn't have to talk like this. And her and many other women, showed me that. But then there were so many in the older community as well that would look at me and frown upon me and would think that my marriage was never going to make it, would think that I didn't deserve Dante because I was ratchet. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's not going to build up the black community. You got to give them a little push. We have to give them a little push. We have to show them that you can do this, and it's not considered whitewash. Or if you decide to go and get some education, or if you choose to talk and word your sentences differently, because the other cultures are just going to continue mocking us. They're walking around. These men are walking around with wigs on their head, with these eyelashes, and they talking like this, and they're thinking that that's how all black women are acting, and we don't all act like that. We might have a little neck roll, okay, Ann? But you don't have to be like that. And you don't have to put each other down. If your sister doesn't have enough to get her TV up off the floor, to get her kid's bed off the floor at that time, and to have the right kind of curtains, and if she's making food from a Jiffy box, and her corn and her stuffing is coming from a box, and if she's not doing this and doing that, oh well. Teach her. Show her. Because clowning her is not gonna get us anywhere. It's not. And I see it. You don't see that in other cultures. You just don't. I see these young sisters, and they got their first apartments, and they don't be having hardly anything. And guess what? Good job, girl. I love you. I'm proud of you. Oh, she got roaches. So what? They're living in clay houses in other countries, on the floor, on concrete, on the ground, on rock. And you want to sit here and dog one another because of she don't have this right now. She don't. So what? But as soon as you see a white person or you see a Mexican person going through the same thing, it's just one ear and not the other. Because you want to sit there and you want to keep dogging the black community, but you are black. You are a black woman. And if you're not a black woman and you see, our culture acting some kind of way, stop thinking that everybody is like that. I run into, and I'm just going to keep it real now because I feel like I need to keep it real. I've run into so many different, white friends and white co-workers and stuff, and they be like, oh, you act different. You don't act like the black people. Excuse me? First off, let's rewind that because I am a sister. But that's the persona that we put out there to the world. They always say if Black Lives Matter, you guys will stop killing each other. Forget that part. If Black Lives Matter, we'll start empowering one another. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Black woman, you are beautiful. Black woman, you are kind. Black woman, you are intelligent. Black woman, you are strong. Black woman, you will make it. You will surpass these titles and these names that they put on us. You are empowered. You are loved. You are kind. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Black woman, you listen. 2 ears and 1 mouth. Start listening and want to embrace that change. Okay? It's not considered whitewash. It's not considered ignorant. Because like I said, everybody that is ignorant is not black. And everybody that speaks proper is not white or whitewashed. We can do it too. So I'm just going to leave you guys with that. I'm just kind of tired of seeing on Facebook everybody. It's like, us dogging each other. Hello. Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good. We're just going to wait for